Hello everyone, Andrew here and thank you all for tuning in for another video. Today I've got something pretty cool that I will show you all. As you can see on the screen in front of you, we now have a hypercar in Assetto Corsa. This is the URD Moyoda Hybrid 2021, but you and me will both instantly recognise it as the Toyota GR010 Hypercar that is running in this year's Le Mans 24 Hours and indeed the WEC. I think this might actually be the first hypercar in sim racing at all, so if it is, then that's pretty cool prestige to have for URD. I don't really know what else I can say about it. It's a hypercar. It's not something we've really experienced before. It's very different from the LMP ones. I'll get into that while I'm driving it. I think what I'm going to do is do some hot laps, or the closest thing I can do to a hot lap around Le Mans. And we're going to do it in VR so we get the full experience, the full feel of what it's like to drive this thing. Let's get behind the wheel and see what it's all about. So here we are then behind the wheel at Le Mans. I've set the time of day to about 9 o'clock, which is about roughly the time I'm filming this video. I've started it from the hot lap setting, so I don't have to do a full lap yet. What I'm going to do one lap to warm up. Okay. And then I'm going to a couple more just to put this thing through its paces and see what it's all about. Now I have done a fair bit of driving already just to get acclimatized to the car, because as I mentioned, it doesn't really drive like an LMP2 car, an LMP1 car even does. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one, it's rear-wheel drive now. Hybrids of old were four-wheel drive, this one's rear-wheel drive. Also, I honestly don't know if it's an issue with the mod or if it's the rules in general, but we don't really have much of an in-depth hybrid system. As you see at the top there, I've got an ERS meter that's ticking down. So from what I understand, we do have unlimited hybrid deployment throughout the lap. That I think is a good thing. We still have the same hybrid technology, but the racing is just a bit more, I don't know, the driver can just send it a bit more, if that makes sense. Probably not, but whatever. Speaking of which, these two dashes, they look rather familiar, don't they? I think the top one comes from the 2014 Toyota LMP1 car that we already have in Assetto Corsa, and this one on the wheel, it looks familiar, but I honestly don't know where it's from. I think it's from the Porsche. Now I gotta say, if that's the case, that's rather sloppy from URD. Now granted, I did search on Google for some interior shots of this car, and I couldn't really find anything. But even so, this is a paid mod, and to be borrowing things from existing content, and it seems a bit sus. Yeah, I set the time for 9 o'clock in the evening. I love the way Sol just brings Assetto Corsa to life. The sun beaming up in VR, the experience is just so much more enhanced. This version of Le Mans, it's the version that's available on Race Department. It's not the most accurate, as I heard a bit wide there, Indianapolis. It's not the most accurate, I mean it's nowhere near laser scanned. Judging from the Xbox banners coming onto the Mulsanne straight, I think it's a Forza rip. Unfortunately, a very accurate version of Le Mans is something we're still really waiting for Assetto Corsa. We're coming to the Porsche Cups for the first time. This is where this car really shines. You got quite a lot of mechanical grip here. Unfortunately, I don't. Alright, we're just warming up, it's all good. In the slow speed stuff, it's a bit... there's like a sudden just loss of grip. But I think that's an Assetto Corsa thing. Assetto Corsa does weird things at low speed. Okay, on to our first flying lap. Gonna take the racing line here. I notice this is the line that the real cars take. Never quite get that right. I always feel like I can put more power down, but whenever I do, I spin. It makes me think that the baseline setup, it would have been nice if they set it up for Le Mans, because I think a lot of people who picked this car up, this is probably the first track they're going to be driving it on. I've taken it around Catalonia and Spa. Those are like my 2 test tracks, so to speak, in Assetto Corsa for new mods, but like in real life, or with Barcelona anyway. And yeah, I really enjoy it, but it's definitely more at home here at Le Mans. I was like a fraction later than I wanted to be there. Alright, let's see what we top out on the Mulsanne. We've got our speedo there in the red box on the dash. 295, 300, 310. 310 just for braking, and I braked a little bit early there as well. So that's something to consider for our next lap. Let's just look around. A lot of detail in here, which is always nice to see. Whoops, a daisy. Kinda asking for that, wasn't I? I think that's called an arch. As you know, people who watch Moyodas by now will probably realise that I'm not great at remembering the corner names. I'm pretty awful. But I know that we're coming up to Indianapolis. So adjust my headset. Traction control we on. Put it down to 3. So we have traction control, but we don't have ABS. That was better. I feel like I could have gone faster. No matter. Got out of portion curves. I love cutting that last bit there. I saw Kamui Kobayashi do it, take that line, and it's world record lap in 2017. So now whenever I drive Le Mans, that's the line I take. Alright, let's try and do it proper now. Nah, so loose over that area, over those 2 corners. Turn 1 and turn 2 coming into the Donald Bridge here. No worries, we'll just go again. You know, maybe it is set up for Le Mans, because this is a low downforce track, obviously. So it only makes sense in the slow stuff. It's going to be a bit loose and a bit, yeah, a bit slippy. Okay, it's no worries. what I tend to do is, if I've like ruined a lap, I try to find faster ways around. I use that as my chance to find later braking points and things like that. That's what I do in iRacing, in qualifying. Yeah, it's definitely not realistic, because these curbs are cliffs in this mod, but in real life, they really aren't. Really hope at some point we can get a really accurate version of Le Mans for Assetto Corsa. Because this version just seen it. But you know, I'm still having fun. This is still Le Mans. I'm one of the rare people that actually loves lapping this track. I know a lot of people in the sim racing world, well, if YouTube and Reddit is anything to go by, which it ain't, but hey ho. Le Mans is definitely a 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour endurance track. Not really a short race or hot lap circuit, but I quite like it. I think it's a nice long lap time and there's a fair bit of challenge in it. Oh, this is so cool in VR. Porsche curves. I'm probably not taking the best lines, I'm not lifting as much as I should be, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to turn TC back up to 5. I think that's what's causing me some problems. Just make sure we get through these last 2 turns fine. Well, last 3 turns I should say. Nope, we're locked up. Okay. Okay, so I've done a fair bit of warming up now. I've even decided to turn the lights on in this car for a bit of immersion. Let's try and put on, like, I'm going to try and put in an actual fast lap for you all. And really stretch the legs of this thing. Bit of a lock up there, but whatever. Even with traction control, the back end is still so loose. As I'm demonstrating here. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it, even if I'm not driving it well. I really just enjoy the rawness of this car. It's something that the older LMP1 cars didn't have. They were fun to drive, they were interesting to drive, but they lacked a bit of rawness, and this car has that rawness. It reminds me a lot of the earlier LMP1 cars. If anyone's driven the Audi R8 or the Bentley Speed 8 or the Porsche 911 is it GT198 that we have in Assetto Corsa, it reminds me a lot of that, which is not a bad thing because those are very fun cars to drive. The only thing I don't like about this mod, it does seem to lack a bit of detail. You look at things like the RSS mods and VRC and other paid mods for Assetto Corsa, they are very highly detailed. And they look even better than the base content for the for AC, whereas this one, it just lacks some of the finer details. I think you've got to see for yourself to really understand what I'm trying to say. I'll definitely leave a model link down below. I'll also leave a link for the real skin for this car, because obviously they can't put the skin on if they're going to sell it, because Toyota's lawyers will come knocking. Okay, into Indianapolis. A bit late on the brakes there. I love that warm golden glow of the sun, soul. Probably the best thing that ever happened to AC. Just brings it to life, and yeah, it's amazing. I hope the guy that makes it, that made it, gets hired by Kunos. That was a bit wide, that's probably an invalidated lap. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna go again. Because that lap was 4 minutes and 7 seconds. I don't know how. No. Keep spinning. Well, I think I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Bit late, and I keep making mistakes. But this is definitely a car that I'm having fun with. It's awesome that we get to experience Hypercar in Assetto Corsa for the first time. I wish it was a little bit better done. Like, these dashes, for example, are ripped from other cars. The detail of the car model itself is a bit lacking, I think. And also the baseline setup is a little bit shit, for lack of a better term. This is an issue with AC. A lot of mods come out with really bad baseline setups, and yeah. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a like. If you really did, then please subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.